All right, gang. Here we are again. The last NBA slate before we hit All-Star weekend. So we're going to be on a little bit of a hiatus. You're not going to see me for a little bit unless I feel crazy and decide to do something for All-Star game, but I don't think I will. I'll probably just be hanging out in Discord, chopping it up with the patrons and all that stuff. But yeah, this is the last one for, I don't know, few days, at least several days. The next game, next slate of NBA games will be February 24th. So we're going to have about a week away from each other. So go ahead and kiss this beautiful face goodbye while you still have the chance. Last night was a very good night for the community last night. The Patreon community, Discord community, we ended up having a lot of people find the winner's circle. Put together some nice entries over on PrizePicks. So shout out to everybody who joins me in that Patreon and Discord group. Saw a lot of green, a lot of tickets that were winning big over on PrizePicks. Today's slate, not very big, not a lot of games to go through, but we're going to try to make the most of it, make tonight a winning night before we take a little break. So we'll get into the points, the assists, the rebounds, the PRA, the fantasy score, and three-point make props over on PrizePicks. If you don't play on PrizePicks yet, now's a great time to do so. 100% instant deposit match, still going down, still happening for you. Use promo code Curry. You see it floating above my head here. There's links down in the description below to Discord, to Patreon, to props.cash, to PrizePicks, to all the things to get you started out on the right foot on your player prop journey. Let's turn things over to the chat here. We've got Big Wild Man. He's talking about dibs in the chat. Good morning, everybody. Let's get the bag today. Absolutely. Let's get the bag. He says he's second on the likes. Well, I appreciate you dropping a like on this. You guys absolutely knocked it out of the park last night in terms of likes. 240 plus likes. Let's try to keep the 200 like streak going. It's been a couple of days in a row now where you've hit 200 or more likes. We got to keep getting the word out. We got to keep getting the show out to as many people as possible. Let's get the message out. Let's try to help others win money. We're all on the same team here. It's us versus the projections. We're just trying to pick the overs and unders and find a few bucks, right? Find a few bucks each and every day. Mo, what's good with you? Mark H is in the building. He says, drop a like for my dude, CJ. I appreciate you, Mark. Aaron Rodgers is back. I see you, my friend. I see you. Quepid101 says, we hit that like button because we love CJ's video, not because we're being generous. Thank you, Quepid. I appreciate the love, and hopefully you feel the love coming through your screen right back to you from me. Bankroll Ree says, what's up, chat? DeMarvelous did it again. Not quite sure what that means, but okay. RJ, over on a hat today, you win. The hat is back on the head. We ain't letting the locks out. And by the locks, I mean my hair, not on a lock on a pick or anything like that. Leroy says, let's go. Kyle says, great kitchen plays last night. CJ, help me cash. Let's get it again today. What he's referring to, I have a channel inside of Discord. It's for Patreon members only. It's called Curry's Kitchen. I cook up some picks and plays and props and put them in there. And was 2 for 2 last night on the picks that I provided. And then shout out to the community. They provided a bunch of winning picks as well that led a lot of us to the winner's circle. Accolade Rhyme says, I can't believe Capella was shy by 0.1 first half fantasy points along with Adams, who did nothing. Yeah, that Clint Capella burn, it kept me from a 10x payout, and it absolutely sucked. Ronald Screen, what's up? Can't be Zach says, Adams played 21 minutes just to drop 0 points. Yeah, it had to come to an end at some point. King Chris says, did you smash the like button on your way in? That's a very poignant question. Did you smash the like button on your way in? Maybe some people are kind of waiting and seeing, you know, they're on the fence about hitting that like button. They don't know if they should do it or not. But I appreciate those who have. Everyday Fantasy, aka Don P111 in Discord says, good day, CJ Patreon gang live stream. FYI, if you don't have Patreon, you're missing out. It's a steal. Great work, gang. Stack of cash emoji. Yeah, my man was stacking up the cash big last night. Matthew says, let's make some money today. Love it. Ahmed says, good morning, gang. Hope y'all got in on the Gary Trent Jr. play last night. We absolutely did, thanks to my man Desmond Cox. Boom. Speaking of Desmond Cox, he says, let's finish strong. Desmond dropped off that Gary Trent Jr. play. He said, if Fred VanVleet is out, then we go ahead and play the over on Gary Trent Jr.'s points at 20.5. And my man, you were right, Desmond. You were absolutely right. Good call on that one. Drew Brees says, what's the deal? What's good? Patreon gang in the building. 100. 100. I see you, Drew Brees. Magic, good morning to you. One more day before the break. Let's get it. Boom. We're going to get it. We're going to get to the business. Travis A., let's get it. Chris Stevens, let's freaking go. Timothy Scott says, Aaron Rodgers, what's up? Adrian Ricordo 34, send me the link. I'm ready to sign up for Patreon today. Well, links are down in the description below, my friend. You're welcome to join the community. Like I said, nothing too crazy or life-changing going on in there. There's a bunch of hardcore PrizePicks players, player prop fanatics in there who's doing some research, who's sharing the information, sharing their favorite picks and plays, and we're getting to the winner's circle, man. That's just all it is, all right? And we're not doing anything too crazy. We're just building up a really strong community of player prop ninjas in there who are assassinating player props on a daily basis, all right? That's what's going on. Chris Stevens says he made over $500 yesterday. Let's go. Love to hear that. Busy time, 160. Good morning, gang. Yesterday was a good day. What up, CJ? Cole Anthony assist came through again on the under. Yeah, I had Cole Anthony going over first half fantasy points, but guess who I paired him with? Clint Capella. Yeah, so I lost that pick. And I lost that entry, unfortunately. Cole Anthony balled out, though, hit his fantasy point prop both for first half and full game. That was one that I called out in Discord prior to the games tipping off. And my man Cole Anthony did his freaking thing. Isaac says, nice over with the Seth Curry points. Yeah, we kind of liked some Seth Curry on yesterday's show. We talked about him and the opportunities that he should have without Kyrie, KD, without Ben Simmons being around. I mean, it was just kind of an easy way to go. Easy way to go on that Seth Curry point prop. Zach Gill, what's up to you? Timothy Scott, my boy Rogers is a GOAT. Dylan Williams says, good morning, CJ. Appreciate that. Chris Stevens, thanks, bro. You're welcome. Malachi, how's everybody doing this morning? Well, I'm doing good. I can't speak for everyone, but I'm doing pretty good. Last night was a good night. The Gone Network, yo, who said Capella first half yesterday over the Magic? Well, it was a good play, all right? He didn't get it done. I know he didn't get it done, but it's not anybody's fault, so it doesn't matter really who said it, all right? I was on the pick too, so I'll take credit for it. I said it. What are you going to do about it? I never miss. It's the players that miss, okay? My props are always rock solid, but it's the players who have to go out and perform. So blame Clint Capella. Don't blame anybody who proposed that pick be played, all right? Todd, Live for Sunday says, I said you guys can hang me up if I'm wrong on Fox, DeRozan, and Giddey. Hit them, plus others. Best night in a while. Needed this. Let's do it again before we take a little break. Let's do it. Let's do it. The Gone Network says, good day, fellas. What's up, CJ? What's up to you? Michael Palma says, thanks to Houdat. Yes, that's a good dude there. Absolutely. Shout out to Houdat, one of our rock solid community members, man. Rashawn, what's good with you? Eric, what's happening? Who else we got in here? Saying hello to everybody that we can. Hoof15 says, morning. All, let's keep the streak going. Great picks, great community. Appreciate you all. Love it, love it, love it. Jimmy Green's in the building. What's up? Joe Harrington's just getting in here. Good morning to you as well. All right, y'all. If I missed anybody, my bad. Ain't nothing personal. My fault. But we got to get down to business here. Let's talk about some NBA player props. Listen, we're on our way to 5,000 subscribers, gang. 5,000. So if you are not subscribed yet, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please do so now. All right. When we hit 5,000 subscribers, I don't know if it's going to be today. It may not be. It may not be till after we return, after All-Star break. But hopefully we hit 5,000 subscribers really soon. I'm going to work with PrizePicks, okay? And I'm going to see if I can do some sort of spectacular, fantastic, extraordinary giveaway for somebody out there, for maybe hopefully multiple somebodies out there. I want to do something special for everybody who's supporting the channel. So when we hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to talk to my friends over at PrizePicks, and I want to give away some free entries. I want to give away some swag or something, man. We got to give away something. We got to do a big giveaway for 5,000. 5,000 subs is a big number. So make sure you hit subscribe, all right? If you want to be considered for whatever we can put together with PrizePicks and do some free entries, or I don't know, whatever we can get our hands on. All right, I'm going to talk to my friends over at PrizePicks and see if we could do some sort of giveaway for you folks. All right, got to give back, got to pay it forward, and that's what I want to do for you guys. All right. Enough of the small talk, right? Let's get down to business here. Last slate, I should say, before the NBA All-Star break. Let's break it down. 7 p.m. Eastern time, the Miami Heat at the Charlotte Hornets. We got 224.5 implied point total, 4.5 point spread in favor of the road team, the Miami Heat. Lots of names here on the injury report we got to keep an eye out on. For the Miami Heat, we got Tyler Herro, Jimmy Butler. We've got Martin, Dedmon, Haslam, Oladipo, and Morris still out for Miami. That's nothing new. And then over on the Charlotte side, Gordon Hayward continues to sit out. We've got McDaniels and Martin. The other Martin, they're twins. I don't think, not everybody knows that, but the Martins, they're twins. Maybe they're going to be playing against each other tonight. We'll have to wait and see. They're both game time decisions. Anyway, loving the total on this game. The spread, not too bad either. I am a little bit worried, though, that players are starting to mentally check out, that they're already looking forward to the NBA All-Star break, that they already got some vacation plans lined up. So I'm going to go a little lighter on today's slate in terms of how I'm going to manage my bankroll. Probably not going to put a whole lot of dollar rooskies out there, all right, gang? Just being transparent with you. These players, they're like, you and I. Whenever there's a vacation looming or the weekend looming or something like that, listen. They're looking forward to it. They're human beings like us. They're ready for a break too, just like we might be ready for a break, all right? So I'm going to go light tonight with my bankroll. I'm just throwing that out there. 8 p.m., Dallas Mavericks at the New Orleans Pelicans. 215-point total here, 3-point spread in favor of Dallas. Keep an eye on the Dallas Mavericks. Lots of people on the injury report there. We've got Marquise Chris. We've got Pinson Burke, Nikita Lita, I forget how you say his name. I always mess it up. Reggie Bullock, Tim Hardaway Jr. already ruled out for the Pelicans. Williamson, Lewis Jr., Nance Jr. already out for the Pels. So 215, not a bad total. 3-point spread should be in play for a full game format. 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, tip-off between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks. 223.5 point total. I'm a little concerned for the Philadelphia 76ers here, gang. We saw them get blown out recently by the Boston Celtics. I don't know if they're going to have the firepower to hang with the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. It's got a 223.5 point total, 6.5 point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Keep an eye on Jerry Springer. No, that's not really his name. Springer, though, game time decision for Philadelphia. James Harden will not make his debut. I think he's going to be a post-All-Star break type of play here. We won't see James Harden tonight. Anyway, over on the Milwaukee Bucks side, Grayson Allen, game time decision. Pat Connaughton, game time decision. Wes Matthews, game time decision. So 3 of their shooting guard / small forward players, their wing players, are all GTDs. Brook Lopez, George Hill already ruled out. 10:30 p.m. the Houston Rockets at the Los Angeles Clippers. This is a late night tip. 228 points on the board, 11-point spread in favor of the LA Clippers. Keep an eye on the Houston side. We got Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. Kevin Porter Jr. did not end up playing last night. Dennis Schroeder did in his place, and Schroeder had himself a pretty nice little debut for the Houston Rockets. Looking at the Clippers side, Kawhi Leonard, I don't know why he's a game time decision. He's definitely not playing. Ojale, game time decision. Paul George, Preston, Scrub, and Powell already ruled out. So 228 with an 11-point spread. Probably going to be a first half only type of game for me. Like I said, I'm going to probably go light. And then finally, 7:30 p.m. Not sure why this one's out of order, but whatever. Washington at Brooklyn, 216 points, 4-point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. For the Washington Wizards, Bradley Beal is out. Again, don't know why he's a game time decision. He is not going to be playing. Vernon Carey Jr., Kristaps Porzingis, Rui Hachimura, Daniel Gafford, all game time decisions. FYI, Kristaps Porzingis will not be making his debut tonight either. It was reported yesterday that he's going to at least miss the next 2 games. So do not expect Kristaps Porzingis out there, even though he's a game time decision. Do not expect Bradley Beal out there, even though he is a game time decision. Those should both be out. They should both be ruled out. For the Brooklyn side, Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, both listed as game time decisions. Again, not really sure or why these guys are GTDs. I don't expect either one to play. I think we've got some weird information here, let's just say. But Kevin Durant, Joe Harris already ruled out for Brooklyn. So decent total on that game, spread at 4 points. It looks like could be one that goes the distance. Anyway, wow, there's 180 people watching. I didn't think that we were drawing those types of numbers, but that's good to hear, man. Nick, you keep these folks accountable. 180 watching and 70 likes. We're going to run these likes up for the last show before the NBA All-Star break. We got to get another 200 on the board. Another 200 likes on the board. We got to make it happen, gang. We got to make it do what it do. All right? David says, when the games are out of order, it's because it's a makeup game. Is that true? I did not know that. Well, that's a good piece of information. All right, cool. Anyways, thank you so much for everybody that's joining me this morning. Let's get down to business here. We're going to look at some points props like we do every single day, right? We're going to start things off with the points. We're going to look at the last 10 games, who's been covering their points prop at a high hit rate. And we'll talk about the high hitters, and then we'll move on to the other categories and talk about some guys that are getting it done, because we like playing the overs around here. So that's kind of where our minds are at when we're doing our research. The overs are just more fun to play. So we're looking for the best possible spots for some overs. So let's start it off here with this guy, big Jonas Valanciunas. He's at 15.5 points on most of your sports books. Last 10 games for him, he has covered in 8 out of 10, an 80% hit rate at 15.5 points. He's going up against the Dallas Mavericks today. A little bit of a, I don't know. I don't want to call him a bad front court. You got Maxi Kleber, you got Dwight Powell in there. So, I mean, two pretty big bodies and pretty good defenders in their own right, but not really a matchup that I'm avoiding or afraid of in any way. Joe Val, though, over the last 5 games, you can see he's gone for 16 or more points in 4 straight games, averaging 16.6 points in that span. Good for an 80% hit rate. So let's go take a look at this matchup here. For that, as we usually do here, we're going to be using Fantasy Pros. We're going to be looking at the last 7 games and how these defenses stack up against a particular position. In this case, we're going to go look at the center spot. And then we're going to go look and see how many points per game the Dallas Mavericks are giving up to opposing centers over that 7-game span. So let's do that. We're going to go find Dallas. Dallas is down toward the bottom of the list here. They're giving up about 20.6 points per game, which sounds like a lot, but when you look at where they rank, that is actually the 5th fewest over the last 7 games. So a difficult matchup on paper for Jonas Valanciunas. So you get an idea how the matchup is stacking up here for Joe Val. Let's pull a projection up for the big guy. We got him at 17.7 projected points. He's at 16.5 on every sportsbook that I'm able to reference here. 4 different sites. And we're seeing the betting public snatching the under. They're taking the under on Joe Val. They don't think he's going to go for 17 or more, despite the projections and the high hit rates. So, yeah, minus 125, minus 122, minus 130, minus 140. So he's got very high hit rates in the last 10 and last 5, but the public a little skeptical that Jonas Valanciunas gets it done today against Dallas. Speaking of Dallas, got to talk about one of their players, Mr. Jalen Brunson here at 17.5 points. The last 10 games for him, a 70% hit rate. He's gone 7 out of 10, gang, at covering 17.5 points. We look at his last 5 games here, and you can see he's got an 80% hit rate. So the hit rates have actually gone up in a more recent sample size of games. He's averaging 19 points per game in that last 5-game span. So things have been going pretty well here for Jalen Brunson. Let's go take a look at this matchup. He's going up against the New Orleans Pelicans, the likes of Devontae Graham or CJ McCollum. Not really sure who they're going to put on Mr. Jalen Brunson today, but let's just assume it's probably CJ McCollum and Graham matches up with Luka Doncic. I think that might be the way that things shake out. But we'll go to the shooting guard position here and see how many points the New Orleans Pelicans have given up over their last 7 games to opposing shooting guards. Giving up about 19 to 20 points. Let's just round it up. We'll call it 20 points. And you can kind of see where that puts them in line about the 10th or 11th fewest 10th or 11th fewest points per game allowed to the shooting guard position. So let's flip it on over here back to Action Labs, which is a part of the Fantasy Labs daily fantasy sports tools and projections. I got Brunson going for 18.9 projected points. That's nearly 19 points, putting him over 17.5 by about 1.5 points. Not 17.5 points on 4 different books. Again, the public feeling like they want to take the under, meaning they don't think he's going to go for at least 18 today. They think 17 or less is in the cards for Mr. Jalen Brunson. So despite his 70% hit rate over the last 10, despite the 80% hit rate in the last 5, seems like the betting public is really thinking that there's going to be a lot of unders tonight so far. That's what I'm seeing anyway. Some other players to consider who are sporting a 60% hit rate. I won't go through them all, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them over the last 10 games. Bobby Portis at 13.5 points, 60% hit rate. LaMelo Ball, 20.5 points, 60% hit rate. DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith, 60% hit rate. And his teammate, Luka Doncic, 60% hit rate for him as well. So there you go, gang. Those are your top point hitters here. Jonas Valanciunas, 80% in his last 10 games. Jalen Brunson, 70%. Everybody else that I named, Portis, Ball, Finney-Smith, Luka Doncic, all sitting at about 60%. So not a lot of high hit rate guys on a small NBA slate. So now that we talked some points, let's talk some rebounds. Who's been getting it done on the glass here lately? Well, the first guy that stands out to me is going to be a point guard, Mr. Drew Holiday at 4.5 rebounds. Drew Holiday, 4.5 boards over the last 10 games. He has covered this in 7 out of 10, a 70% hit rate for Drew Holiday. We look at the last 5 games, a little bit more shaky, especially in the last 2, where he's finished with just 2 and 3 rebounds respectively. We go back to the games against Phoenix, the Lakers, and the Clippers. He had 5, 7, and 5 in those games, respectively. So he's facing off against Philadelphia, his former team. Once upon a time, Drew Holiday, member of the Philadelphia 76ers. Man, I thought he was going to be a part of their long-term plans. It did not shake out that way for Drew Holiday. He's bounced around to a few teams, and finally has stuck around with the Milwaukee Bucks, man. One of the most underrated players, in my opinion, Drew freaking Holiday. Let's go take a look at this matchup here. We're talking the point guard position for Drew Holiday. We're talking rebounds. We got to go find the Philadelphia 76ers. They're giving up about 7 boards per game. You can kind of see where they fall in line there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th most giving in terms of rebounds to the point guard position. So this is definitely a plus matchup for Drew Holiday against the Philadelphia 76ers, as they are allowing 7 or more rebounds per game to point guards. So now that we know that, let's go see what the models, the projection models on Fantasy Labs have to say about Drew Holiday today. Now, right now, they've got him at 5.2 projected rebounds. That is more than 4.5. But again, some skepticism here by the betting public. We're seeing minus 120, minus 125 betting favorite to go under 4.5 rebounds. So they think he's going to finish with 4 or less rebounds. Yeah, I mean, I think they're thinking like I was saying earlier, what I had kind of hinted at. Maybe a lot of these guys, they're going to underperform tonight, one day before they get, their vacation break, so to speak. Maybe they think that a lot of these guys have mentally checked out. But this should be a good game. I hope this one stays close and competitive. Philadelphia and Milwaukee, I'd like to see that one kind of go the distance. But shout out to everybody who's just getting here. Truman Vic, I know I didn't say hello to you because that's a very interesting name, and I would have remembered had I said hello to you. So hello to you, Truman Vic. Jojo Rabbit, what's up to you? Allie's in the building saying, God bless everyone. Well, God bless you too. Can't be mad at that. Isaac M says, good morning. Let's get this bread. Appreciate you all being here. All right, gang. So Drew Holiday, 70% hit rate at 4.5 boards. We're going to talk about another guard here. Another guard who's been getting it done in terms of rebounds. He's not up on the PrizePicks board, but Terry Rozier. Scary Terry, 4.5 rebounds. Also a 70% hit rate over his last 10 games. So if they do put Rozier up on the board, I'm not seeing him right now, but if they do put Rozier up on the board, have 4.5 boards, then maybe we should take the over on him. One guy that we can talk about who is up on the board that will be highly controversial for a lot of you guys. Highly controversial play here, probably. A lot of you still got that bitter taco taste on your tongue, right? Because the other day we had Joel Embiid what looked like a tasty taco served to us by the community who voted for Joel Embiid and voted for his rebounds. That's what they voted on. That's what the PrizePicks community voted on inside the official PrizePicks Discord. They wanted Joel Embiid and they wanted his rebounds. They were discounted. And Joel Embiid, even with a discounted rebound prop, did not get the job done. Did not get the job done. That's what y'all voted on, though. All right, that's not what I voted on. I voted on Darius Garland from Group 1 the other day. But we're going to talk Embiid for a second because at 11.5 boards, 70% hit rate. 70% hit rate for Joel Embiid. He is at 12 right now on PrizePicks. So he's actually higher than 11.5. Let's go look at this matchup. He'll be facing off against the likes of Bobby Portis, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So Milwaukee giving up about 13.4 rebounds per game to opposing centers over the last 7 games. That is the 8th fewest in that 7-game span. We're going to dig deep on this one because, like I said, it's going to be highly controversial. I don't think a lot of people want to go back to Joel Embiid and take the over at 12 rebounds. That's just the sense. That's the feeling. Knowing you guys, like I think I know you, you have been burned. Your tongue was burned by that Joel Embiid taco the other day. Let's get you a projection on Embiid here. I've got him projected for 11.2 rebounds, which is less than 12. We're seeing him at 12.5 rebounds out on 3 different books, 3 different sites. At 12.5 boards, minus 150 to go under, huge odds. Minus 135 to go under, and minus 135 to go under on 3 different sites. So here's the question. You're skeptical about taking the over on Joel Embiid's rebounds, but do you feel strongly enough to take the under? Do you dare take the under on Joel Embiid at 12 rebounds? Like the public is. The public's taking the under at 12.5. We're getting him at 12. But do you take the under on Joel Embiid at 12 rebounds? That's the real question. You're probably not going to want to take the over based on what happened the other day, but do you take the under? Let's look at this. Joel Embiid rebounds versus the Bucks. We want to look at his game logs here. I will tell you this. It's 4 straight games now. He has went for less than 12 rebounds. He has went under 12 rebounds in 4 straight games versus the Milwaukee Bucks. This is the first time he's facing the Bucks this season, though. We have not seen him perform against the Bucks at all this year. This will be the first time that he meets up against Milwaukee. The last time that he's had more than 12 rebounds against the Bucks was April 4th, 2019. That's nearly 3 years ago. Overall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 meetings in his career against the Milwaukee Bucks. He's went for more than 12 rebounds in 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 10. So just a 40% hit rate. So back to my question. Do you dare take the under on Joel Embiid at 12 rebounds? I will leave that decision up to you. Anyways, looking at some other player props. Guys who have been rebounding at a decent hit rate. Dorian Finney-Smith at 4.5 rebounds, 60%. Luka Doncic, 9.5 rebounds, 60%. CJ McCollum, 4.5 rebounds at 60%. So those are your top hitters in terms of rebounds. Like I said, smaller slate, not as many options, not as many ways for us to go. So let's move it on over to the assist category. And then at the end of this, we will take some questions and see which picks and plays you're liking. We'll discuss those in depth as much as we can. Looking at the assist category, guys, the ones that are standing out, the ones with the highest hit rates today, Jrue Holiday. We've already talked about him for some rebounds. What about some assists at 6.5 dimes? He's covered this in 7 out of his last 10 games, a 70% hit rate. We look at the last 5 games, 60% hit rate. Dropped a little bit, but he's averaging 8.2 assists in that span. Now, a lot of that 8.2 is coming off of the 13 assists he had against the Clippers, the 10 assists he had against the Lakers. It's been a little bit harder for him here over the last 3 games, 4, 6, and 8 over the last 3. So let's go take a look at this matchup here. We've already talked Jrue Holiday and the rebounds, looking like a pretty decent matchup for him. How many assists are the Philadelphia 76ers giving up to opposing point guards? About 9.6, guys. That's a pretty high number for a guy who needs 7 dimes. 9.6, definitely achievable in this matchup. Philadelphia giving up quite a few assists to opposing point guards. So let's go take a look at the projections here for Jrue Holiday. I got Jrue projected for 7.7 dimes. That is more than 6.5, really close to being at 8 assists. And we finally get a prop that the betting public likes the over on. They like the over on Jrue Holiday here at 6.5 assists. We're seeing minus 130 and minus 140 odds of him covering 6.5 assists. So maybe you go this route if you want to step in line with the betting public. The projections are in Jrue Holiday's favor. The hit rates are in Jrue Holiday's favor. So maybe you go here instead of his rebounds tonight. Another guy who's been getting it done at a 70% hit rate on 9.5 assists is Luka Doncic. 9.5 assists, 7 out of 10. But we look at his last 5 games and things have gotten a little more difficult here for Luka over the last 3. Now I'll tell you this, against the Clippers, Luka was more interested in scoring. Those 2 games, he dropped a lot of points on the Los Angeles Clippers' head in those 2 games. Miami, he fell short as well. Didn't really have a good game against Miami. Kind of a subpar game in terms of scoring, subpar in terms of assists. So Luka Doncic struggled a bit in that game. So let's take a look at the matchup today. He's going up against the New Orleans Pelicans. We talked about Devontae Graham, CJ McCollum. Not really sure who's going to be matching up with Luka Doncic, but not really afraid of either one of those guys. So point guard position, looking in the assist column, the New Orleans Pelicans are giving up about 7.8 dimes. 7.8, which puts them as like one of the top 10 most difficult teams over the last 7 games in terms of assists allowed to point guards. So not a very plus or positive matchup here for Luka Doncic. Maybe he stays under again, or maybe he finally pops back up after 3 bad games or subpar games in a row. Listen, I got Luka projected for 10 assists. That's more than 9 by 1. And then he's at 9.5 on every sports book out there, but big time odds, minus 145 to go under on 3 different books, 3 different sites. So the public, again, not liking Luka Doncic, which is why we're seeing his assist at 9 instead of 9.5. PrizePicks went ahead and bumped him down a little bit. Now, another guy who's been dropping some dimes off at a pretty high clip is CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum at 4.5 assists over his last 10 games, 7 out of 10. I think he's going to be a popular play because people are going to click on his game log here, his player card on PrizePicks, and they're going to see just green bars. They're going to see 5 green bars, and they're going to get very excited. And why wouldn't you? How couldn't you? With the way that he's been covering 4.5 assists, even as a member of the New Orleans Pelicans in the last handful of games here, he's still been getting it done. So change of scenery, not bothering CJ McCollum whatsoever. He's still doing his thing in terms of dropping 5 or more assists per game. So let's go look at this matchup. He's going up against Dallas. We've talked about these 2 teams going head to head at great length in today's video. So we're looking at the shooting guard spot. And we're going to go find the Dallas Mavericks. They're giving up just 3.6 assists per game, which is the 3rd fewest. That is not a whole lot of assists. Even if we wanted to stretch this out and call it 4 assists per game, 4 is less than 4.5. So it might end up being a difficult task here for CJ McCollum to get the job done. Now, because him and Devontae Graham are both, in my opinion, combo guards, let's also look at the point guard position and see how many assists Dallas is giving up to point guards. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit better for point guards than it is shooting guards. 8 assists per game. 8 assists. It's a little easier matchup there, depending on if you want to call CJ McCollum a point guard or not. Anyway, you get the idea. So let's go take a look at the projections for McCollum. I got him projected for 4.8. That is slightly more than 4.5, just enough to get him over the hump. Again, a lot of people are going to be attracted to McCollum today because you got 5 green bars in his game logs. They're going to see that and their eyes are going to light up. And maybe it's not a bad matchup. Maybe he can get it done. But I can tell you this, 3 different books have him at 4.5 assists. 2 out of 3 books, we're not seeing any action over or under. But 1 book, we are seeing minus 130 odds for him to go over 4.5. So that's at least somewhat encouraging that the public is somewhat on this prop. Jonas Valanciunas at 2.5 assists. You don't typically think of big guys when it comes to dime droppers, but he should be considered because at 70% in his last 10 games, that's 7 out of 10. We look at the last 5, 60%, that's 3 out of 5. And he's averaging 2.6. He had just 1 assist against Memphis. Bit of a down game for him, but if it's anything like the previous down game, maybe this is a bounce back spot for him against the Dallas Mavericks today. So Jonas Valanciunas, maybe he's not in the same league as Nikola Jokic or like Karl Anthony Towns in terms of passing big men, but he does hit his assist prop at 2.5 with a pretty good success rate. So we're going to go find the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas giving up about... what's it look like here? About 4.3 assists per game to opposing centers. So there's a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of upside here. I'm not completely scared off by this matchup. That kind of puts them like middle of the pack, middle of the league. Not overly difficult, not overly easy, right, for Jonas Valanciunas. I think that there is a path to success against Dallas tonight for him to find at least 3 dimes. So let's go take a look at his projections. We got him at exactly 2.5. That doesn't really help us out much. That doesn't really like make us feel any more confident or less confident. But at 2.5 assists on 3 different sites, 3 different books, -125, -130 odds, respectively. So the betting public, again, getting on board and getting behind the over on Joe Val at 2.5 dimes. 70% hit rate, though, in his last 10. Kind of surprising. Anyway, some other assist props to potentially consider. Guys who have been getting it done. Tyrese Maxey at 4.5, 60%. And Miles Bridges at 4.5, also at 60%. So those are a couple other assist props for you to take home with you in your to-go bag and for you to research further independently on your own. All right, so we talked some points, we've talked some rebounds, we've talked some assists. Now we're going to combine the 3 and see who's been hitting their points plus rebounds plus assists. Now, speaking of assists, drop an assist for me. What I mean by that is drop a like on today's stream if you're finding any value, if this content's helping you in any way, whether that be saving you time on research, whether that be enlightening you, opening you up to some plays that maybe you weren't considering before. If you're getting anything out of this, drop a like. Let me know that you're liking what I'm doing. Cool. Now that you've done that, we can continue. Dorian Finney-Smith, 16.5 PRA. He's toward the top of the list today. 60% hit rate over the last 10 games. We look at the last 5, an 80% hit rate, meaning he's gone 4 out of 5, averaging about 17 PRA. He's not the most sexy name on the board. He's not the player that comes first to mind when you think PRA, but again, at 60% in the last 10 and 80% in the last 5, we have to at least mention him. He's been getting the job done here, especially with all the injuries to the Dallas Mavericks. There's a lot of guys on the injury report for them tonight. If a majority of those guys end up being ruled out, then Dorian Finney-Smith will naturally fall into a bigger role. Could get his hands on more points and rebounds and drop maybe a dime or 2 more. But anyway, let's go look at this matchup here. He is the small forward for the Dallas Mavericks, again, going up against the New Orleans Pelicans. Small slate, so you're going to see and hear a lot of these names, a lot of these guys from these same teams come up over and over again. But anyway, small forwards against the Pelicans over the last 7 games, they're giving up about 18 points. They're giving up about 7 rebounds, so that's already like 25 PRA, and about 2.5 assists. So, 27, 28 PRA allowed. He needs just 17. So not the hardest matchup when you consider points, rebounds, and assists allowed by the Pelicans. So let's go take a look at the projections for Dorian Finney-Smith. I have him going for 19.1 points plus rebounds plus assists. Now at 16.5, the betting public thinks this number is a little bit too low. They're taking the over. They think he's going to go for at least 17 points, rebounds, and assists tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans. Hard to argue with it, being that he's been getting it done here over the last 5 games at an 80% clip. We've already discussed Jrue Holiday in terms of being an option for you in the assist category and the rebound category, so it's only right, only natural that Jrue Holiday would come up here as a PRA option as well. Jrue Holiday at 28.5 PRA in the last 10 games, 6 for 10. But what really stands out to me is the last 5. Kind of like Dorian Finney-Smith here, 80% hit rate in the last 5 games. He had a good little streak going, 4 games in a row of covering 28.5 PRA. Then he had a little bit of a down game against the Indiana Pacers in the last one. Of course, that was the game where Giannis went for 50 actual points against a really bad Indiana Pacers squad. So maybe Drew Holiday in a revenge game against his former team, Philadelphia 76ers, looks to have a good night tonight. He's at 32.6 PRA average over the last 5 games, which is quite a few more than the line of 28.5. So let's head over to the point guard position here. Point guards. We're going to go find the Philadelphia 76ers and see how many PRA they're giving up to point guards. They're giving up 22 points. That's already a really good start. 7 rebounds. That's 29 PRA. And then we sprinkle in, let's call it 10 assists. 39 PRA. 39 PRA for a guy who needs 29 to hit the over. I think he's in a pretty nice spot here. Let's go take a look and see how Holiday is projected. I got him projected for 32.1 PRA, but again, the betting public feeling a little pessimistic about his chances of going for 29 or more points, rebounds, and assists. He is a minus 125, minus 120 betting favorite to go under tonight. Now, I want to take this one a step further and see if there's any evidence that Drew Holiday plays better or worse when he goes up against his former team, the Philadelphia 76ers. So the way that we do that, we could use StatViews. We could go Drew Holiday points plus rebounds plus assists versus Sixers, and then include the word logs or game logs. Logs is easier to type, and it sounds cool when I say logs. Anyway, as a member of the Milwaukee Bucks, when facing off against his former team, the Philadelphia 76ers, we got 4 different games in his game logs here. At 28.5 PRA, Mr. Drew Holiday has went under this number in 3 out of 4 games as a member of the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, back in the day, when he was a member of the New Orleans Pelicans, you could see what he was doing against Philadelphia. I'd say back then, when he was with the NOP squad, there would be a good argument to be made that maybe he gets a little more excited, gets up when he faces off against Philadelphia. But as a member of the Bucks, he's only done it one time. He's only gone over 28.5 PRA once, and it was back March 17th, 2021. Now, on this team, obviously, you got the likes of Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, guys he has to share the basketball with. So he cannot be in his bag like he was back when he was with the New Orleans Pelicans. So, yeah, I would say that we have debunked the myth that as a member of the Bucks, he gets crazy against the Philadelphia 76ers. Doesn't look like he plays any better. In fact, it looks like he plays maybe a little bit worse. I don't know. Just want to throw that extra little bit of research in on that one for you. Some other guys I won't get into, but they're all up there in terms of 60% hit rates on their PRA. Luka Doncic, Tyrese Maxey, Bobby Portis, Terry Rozier, Jalen Brunson, and Tobias Harris. Those are the remaining names hitting their PRA at a 60% hit rate. So definitely check those plays out. So we've talked points, rebounds, and assists. We've talked PRA. Let's talk about some three-point makes. There's only one prop up on the board right now. Kind of weird. Kind of weird that we're only getting one three-point make prop, and it's Seth Curry. Seth Curry, newest member of the Brooklyn Nets. He's played pretty well over the last couple of games since making his debut. We can see what he's done here from beyond the arc. February 14th against Sacramento, had 3 triples. His last game, which was against the New York Knicks last night, dropped in 6 threes. So I think Seth Curry, as long as the other big 3, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, as long as those guys are out of the lineup and it's Patty Mills and Seth Curry manning the backcourt, I think you keep going back to Seth Curry here, thinking he's going to get as many shot opportunities as he can possibly handle. What do you guys think? Thumbs up. Thumbs up, chat. If you're going to keep riding the Seth Curry point train, if you're going to keep riding the Seth Curry three-point make train. Thumbs up if you're liking the over here on this 2.5. Thumbs down if you're just going to fade it or you're going to take the under on Seth Curry. But I think it looks like a pretty decent spot for Mr. Curry. Let's go take a look at the matchup here. He's going up against Washington. Of course, Washington's backcourt, not quite what it used to be. Spencer Dinwiddie, now gone. Bradley Beal, out for the season. It's going to be Raul Neto. And whoever else starts at shooting guard. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, pretty decent defender. He's okay. He's like a 3-and-D kind of guy. But again, not really worried about any of these dudes in the Washington backcourt. So over the last 7 games, Washington Wizards giving up about 2.5 3-point makes to opposing shooting guards. Now, I also want to look at the point guard position because for me, Patty Mills, Seth Curry, both kind of interchangeable, similar players, point guard, shooting guard, whatever. You know, it's hard to put either one of them in a particular basket for a point guard or a shooting guard. Anyway, Washington against opposing point guards as far as 3-pointers allowed, about 2.6. So it's about 2.5 for shooting guards, about 2.5 for point guards. So it's not an easier or better matchup in either way. Either way. Seeing a lot of thumbs up. A lot of thumbs up for Mr. Seth Curry. All right. Yeah, I tend to agree. We're going to have to keep rocking with Seth Curry as long as he is the guy, the man in the lineup for the Brooklyn Nets. Anyway, let's get you a projection. Seth Curry. Ooh, we don't have one. Let's refresh. Maybe they've added him in here late. Let's take a look. There we go. Got him projected for 2.7 3-point makes. He's up on at least just one side. It looks like at 2.5. Slight betting favorite as of right now to go under 2.5 3-point makes, -115. So there you have it. That is the only 3-point prop we have up on the board. Who do we have up for blocks and steals? Kyle Lowry, Miles Bridges, and Kyle Kuzma. I mean, I guess we could take a look at them. Why not, right? They're here. We're here. Who's been getting it done here? Well, I could tell you this. Kyle Kuzma, last 10 games at 1.5 blocks plus steals, 60% hit rate. 60% hit rate. Do you guys want me to put him in timeout? Fadi. I don't want to put you in timeout, bro, but you don't need to spam that. Don't spam. You're taking away from the conversation. Now you're distracting me because you're pissing my people off. And when you piss my people off, you piss me off. And then I got to put you in timeout. People don't like being put in timeout. I accept your apology, though. Thank you, my friend. Anyways, Kyle Kuzma, 1.5 blocks plus steals. He's covered this in 6 out of 10 games. Has not been going his way, though, in the last 5 games. Just 1 out of 5. 20%. So not the greatest hit rates in the world. I'll just quickly pull up a projection for you on Mr. Kuzma. For blocks and steals, 1.8. 1.8 is his projection. And then at 1.5, he is a betting favorite to go over, according to the public, -130 to go over. All right. So there's Kyle Kuzma for you. Are we interested in Miles Bridges or Kyle Lowry? Maybe Miles Bridges. He's also a 60% hitter over the last 10 games. Over the last 5 games, he's also rocking 60%, 3 out of 5. So maybe he's got a shot here against the Miami Heat. Let's just quickly pull up a projection for you on Bridges. Got him projected for 2 blocks plus steals. We call them stocks, by the way. Easier to say it that way. Stocks. That's steals and blocks. Some of you don't know the lingo. There, I just put you on game. Stocks. No, we're not talking like the NASDAQ or the S&P 500. We're talking about steals and blocks. So stocks for Miles Bridges, 60% in the last 10, 60% here in the last 5. He's projected for 2, and the betting public liking the over on him at -125 odds. And then the last guy is Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's not probably going to be the one that I want to play out of these 3. I mean, 40% hit rate at 1.5 stocks. In the last 10 games, 40% hit rate in the last 5 games as well. So Kyle Lowry probably not going to be a super popular play, but nonetheless, he's projected for 1.8 stocks, steals, and blocks. And then the public taking him -115 over. All right, gang. Enough of me. Let's talk about you. All right. hit me with some player props, some picks that you're liking, all right? Some people in the chat, they don't like the spam stuff. That's all. We got some folks that say, man, spam what you want. We all just trying to help each other out. We hear you, Malachi. It would be better if we could just not spam, though. It would be a better experience for all. All right, let's take a look at some of these plays you guys are mentioning. All right, he's back. He's back. Chris Middleton, first half points. Let's talk about it, guys. He's on it. He wants to talk about Chris Middleton, first half points. Let's do it. It's the never-ending eternal flame. Chris Middleton, first half points. And I can see why he's so excited about it, because in 5 straight games, Chris Middleton has covered 9.5 points in 100% of those contests. 13 points per game. 13 points per game over the last 5 games. So he's really liking it. We could go take a look at it here. Bigger sample size. Let's look at like the last 10 first half points. Now, why did it do that? Why did you do that, my friend? Boom. There we go. So yeah, he's covered in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games. And 8 out of 10 overall. 80% hit rate. So, yeah, I mean, Chris Middleton can definitely be considered for first half points. He was really excited to put you guys on this play. So, there you go. We'll take it a step further and see Chris Middleton first half points versus the Sixers. He's played Philadelphia quite a few times in his Milwaukee Bucks career. Over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, he has went under 9.5 points in 4 out of 5. So that's not great. But he did drop 21 points against Philadelphia back on April 22nd, 2021. So the matchup against Philly could be the difference here. But yeah, I mean, hard to argue with an 8 out of 10, 6 straight game streak for Chris Middleton and his first half points. So hopefully that helps a few of you folks out. Thank you for leaving that one. Appreciate you. Ahmed is liking some Andre Drummond rebounds. Andre Drummond put up a fantastic rebound line the other night. Absolutely crushed it. 19 rebounds against the New York Knicks, which is kind of a tough matchup, man. Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle. Not the easiest front court in the world for a big guy to grab rebounds on, but he's facing off against Washington tonight, which should be an easier matchup, you would think, an easier matchup for Andre Drummond. But let's quickly look at the matchup here over the last 7 games. How many rebounds are the Washington Wizards giving up to opposing centers? Over 18, 18.2 to be exact. Now that's the 7th most. So the matchup is very favorable for Andre Drummond. So I could see why you'd get a little excited about this particular play, why you might like this one. I got him projected for 11.8 rebounds. 2 different sites have this prop up. One of them, we're not seeing any action. The other one, we're seeing the public take the under. They don't believe he's going to get 12 rebounds tonight. So it's a little more insight, a little more intel for Andre Drummond rebound. Kissa says, never do Steven Adams for first half points again. Whew. Never say never, man. Never is a really long time. I don't know if you realize that. You say never do Steven Adams again. Never's a long time, bro. We have to learn to forgive. Forgive these guys. King United saying that Bobby Portis over 7.5 rebounds is his favorite play of the day. Bobby P versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Bobby Portis at 7.5 boards. Last 5 games, you can see 80% hit rate. He had 14 against a pretty bad Indiana front court last game. Pretty bad Pacers front court, but he's going up against Joel Embiid tonight. I'm a little worried that maybe Bobby Portis gets into some foul trouble it is a little bit concerning. Any center really that's going up against Joel Embiid, I do get a little worried that Embiid's offensive pressure will lead to some slapping, some fouling. So I do worry about that a little bit for Bobby Portis tonight. But let's go look at the matchup here. Philadelphia, in terms of rebounds allowed to opposing centers in the last 7 games. Sixers are giving up 12.7 boards, which is not a whole lot. You look at where they rank, that is the 6th fewest in the last 7 games. They're actually doing a pretty decent job keeping opposing centers off the glass. Now, when you compare the 12.7 to the fact that he needs 8, not bad. There's some upside there in this particular matchup. So Bobby Portis could be in a good spot here. Let's get you a projection on this one. We'll try to keep things moving as quickly as possible. Get to as many questions that you have as possible. 7.5 rebounds. He is a betting favorite across 3 different sites. Pretty strong action juice on the over. -145, -150. And I do have him projected for 9.5 boards. 2 rebounds higher than his prop line of 7.5. So I can see why King United is saying this could be his most favorite play of the day. Nice one. David Winker says, don't waste your money on spam. Just use that $3.49 in Super Chat CJ. Oh, I got you. So you're saying Super Chat versus spam. Got it. That's, good sound advice. Good life advice there from David. I thought he was going to leave us a pick. Here I am thinking we're about to get some kind of, lot. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say lot, guys. Forget that. Anyway, I thought you were going to drop off a pick. My man's just giving good sound life advice here on the Super Chat today. He says, use the Super Chat feature instead of spamming. All right. Appreciate you. Now, Bo, you're mentioning Giannis boards. So King United, right before you mentioned Bobby Portis at 7.5 rebounds. Bo Man is liking the Giannis board prop a little bit more. He's at 10 today against Philadelphia. Last 5 games for him, 10 or more rebounds in 3 of 5. 60% hit rate against Philly. Or not against Philly, but that's his opponent tonight. 60% hit rate in the last 5 games. He's averaging 10.8 boards. So let's look at the matchup. We already talked about centers. Philadelphia against centers, kind of tough in the rebound department. Let's go Philadelphia against power forwards and see how many rebounds they're giving up there. A little bit better, 10.5 rebounds to opposing power forwards. So the matchup is a little easier if you are a power forward like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's go pull up a projection. We got him at 12.2 rebounds, boys and girls. 12.2 projected rebounds. Now, obviously, cross-reference this projection. This is just one projection model. There's a number of free projection models out there. You can find them on NumberFire. You can find them on Betting Pros. You can also find them out on RotoWire. 3 different sites that offer single stat player prop projections. So compare to those. But this is just one projection model. They got him at 12.2 projected rebounds. But again, the betting public skeptical here. -145 betting favorite to go under 10.5 rebounds. Which is why PrizePicks has him up at 10 instead of 10.5. They're reacting to what's happening. David's back again with another super chat. He says, drag it out of me, CJ. Plumlee without Gordon Hayward rebounds. You're wanting to take the over on Mason Plumlee, I take it, because life's too short to bet the under. If I know you, I know you're more of an over guy for the most part. So you're saying you're liking Mason Plumlee's rebounds without Gordon Hayward. Now, I was a little concerned, with Montrezl Harrell being introduced to the Charlotte Hornets rotation, that he would start cutting into my man Mace, the ace Plumlee. But Plumlee's not really slowing down here, gang. He is not really slowing down here. Over the last 4 games, especially 11, 10, 12, and 17, he has really picked up the pace in terms of rebounds. Now, it's going to go up against the likes of who? Dedmon? No, not Dead. Well, Dedmon's on the bench, but I did not mean to see Dedmon. I meant to say Bam Adebayo. But maybe he faces some dead men at some point. Bam Adebayo probably going to be the matchup here for Mason Plumlee. Let's take a look at what David's mentioning, though. He says, Mason Plumlee rebounds without Gordon Hayward logs. Okay. So we're only going to look at this season. Just this season. We don't need to go back way too far here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 games this season. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. He's only been with the Charlotte Hornets this season. Duh. So 11 games from this season as a member of the Hornets without Gordon Hayward. You can kind of see what's happening here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was Hamilton, by the way. It just comes out of me sometimes. 10 out of 11, gang. 10 out of 11 games this season. He has gone for 9 or more rebounds in the last 11 games. 10 out of 11. That's a very high hit rate. 9 or more. So, David, I think you just hit us with a play that is gem worthy. It is super chat worthy. I think Mason Plumlee has a pretty decent shot here based on what we've seen. Without Gordon Hayward in the lineup, he does a good job at covering 8.5 rebounds. Even with Montrezl Harrell in town, has not slowed Mason Plumlee down yet. He is projected for 9.8 boards, nearly 10. And at 8.5, we're seeing him being bet over on 2 different sports books, 2 different sites. And then as far as the matchup goes, Mason Plumlee versus Miami. The Heat. Ooh, kind of difficult. They're giving up the 5th fewest rebounds per game to opposing centers. 12.6 rebounds allowed. 12.6. So that is the 5th fewest. So the matchup could be a little concerning, but the fact that Gordon Hayward's not in there, Mason Plumlee has been doing a very solid job. Very, very good job. Mr. Farb, Matthew Farb, that is he's in agreement with some of these picks. He's liking the Andre Drummond boards and Giannis boards. Chris Smith's also liking the Drummond boards. Percy, he's asking, what do I think about Embiid's rebounds? I think that he has not shown a very high hit rate at covering his rebounds versus the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's a little bit more of a under, possibly. You know, not the strongest play on the board. Myles Garrett. Eric Anthony saying, take a look at Myles Garrett points. Myles Garrett plays football. Myles Garrett? You talking about Bridges? Miles Bridges? 6.5? You said his points? Myles Garrett does not play basketball. Probably could if you wanted to. But yeah, Miles Bridges points, if that's who you're talking about. Miles Bridges. 19.5 points, has covered in 4 out of 5, an 80% hit rate. Tough game against Memphis, had only 8 points against them, but otherwise, 25, 22, 25, 28. He's been not just covering 19.5 when he covers, but he's been blowing the brakes off of 19.5. So let's go to the power forward spot. We're going to go look at points. Miami Heat giving up about 21.2 points per game to opposing power forwards. So, yeah, I mean, Miles Bridges, not Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's a beast in his own right, but we're talking Miles Bridges here. Might have a decent matchup here against the Miami Heat. Let's just quickly pull up a projection for Mr. Bridges. Got him going for about 21 points, gang. And then on 3 different sites, we have him at 19.5, but only seeing action on the over on one site, minus 114. Slight favorite to go over. Aaron Rodgers is suggesting, y'all better go get some Bruce Brown. Brucey Brown. All right. Michael Sales is also on some Mason Plumlee rebounds. I feel you. 44 beers. He wants to go Montrezl Harrell rebounds. He's a little bit lower than Mason Plumlee. He's at 6.5. He's covered in 2 games. I think for me, based on what I saw with the Mason Plumlee play, probably favor some Mason Plumlee rebounds over Montrezl Harrell. Just looking at the historical success he's had without Gordon Hayward around. But anyway, I've got a projection of Montrezl Harrell for 8 boards. At 6.5 though. 2 different sites, 2 different books. Real life bettors are putting their money down on the under at 6.5. So yeah, I think I'd go Mason over Montrez. Eric Anthony back again with another play. Grayson Allen first half points. I think this one finally bit some people last game. If I remember correctly, Grayson Allen didn't get it done. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not seeing him up on the board. So I guess it doesn't really matter anyway. But yeah, no Grayson Allen up on the board, but he had been covering 5.5, 4.5 points, first half points at a pretty good success rate. So bankroll I think Plumlee PRA will probably be a good look, especially due to the fact that we're liking his rebounds. I think his PRA is probably in play too, but I think rebound wise could be the better look for you. Kyle's mentioning some Jalen Brunson assists. We've already talked Brunson for points, but you're liking some Brunson assists. He's at 4.5. Last 5 games kind of been difficult here. He's got 2 games where he's covered at 5 and 6. It'll probably be one of those props that you end up sweating, pending the game stays close and competitive. One that isn't going to come easy. Because when he does go over 4.5, it's not like he's blowing it away, right? 5 against Atlanta, barely gets over the hump. 6 against Miami, again, barely gets over the hump. But yeah, I mean, this one might end up being a sweat fest for you. So if you want to sweat, if you want to shed some pounds by sweating out some player props, maybe you go Jalen Brunson. The matchup against the New Orleans Pelicans, though, shooting guards in terms of the assist category. Decent, middle of the pack, I would call it. They're giving up about 4.7, so it's not like they're giving up a ton of assists to shooting guards like the Houston Rockets, who are giving up about 7.5. So matchup could be somewhat difficult. I got Brunson for 6.1 projected assists. He is a betting favorite though. Some really strong action odds, minus 140, minus 145 to cover 4.5. So public really liking him at 5 or more assists today. I think we had another super chat come in. We did. It's my man Magic. Shout out to you, Magic, member of the Patreon community. Thank you for the super chat. Again, never expected. Always appreciated, though. Always appreciated. Thank you for the support. So he's wanting to talk about some Terry Rozier first half points at 10.5 against the Miami Heat. And he's bringing the facts. He's bringing the stats to back up the play, which I love. He's done his research. He's done his homework. Saying Terry Rozier has hit 10.5 first half points in 7 out of 10. And he just played Miami recently. And in that game had 14 big first half points. I feel you, man. Thank you, Magic, for dropping that one off. Let's dig into that one a little bit more here. Show the people what we got going on. So yeah, Terry Rozier, last 5 games, 60% hit rate. He does have a 3-game streak going. 17, 14, and 12 in those games at covering 10.5. Let's pull up his game logs. We'll go Terry Rozier, first half points logs. So we can get a better look, a look beyond the last 5 games. We can look at the last 10 games or however many games we want to look at. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 for 5. We talked about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so he's covered in 4 out of 5 in that little span there. So 70%, like my man Magic mentioned. 25 games. That's roughly how many games StatMuse pulls up here when you type in a player. 25 games. How many times has he gone over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 out of 25 is not too shabby either. Not too bad. Now we could take it a step further and we could go versus the Heat. And then he's got 4 games in his career versus Miami. And in those 4 games as a member of the Hornets, he's covered 10.5 points in 3 out of 4. So 75% hit rate. Came really close too on May 2nd at 9 points. One more shot drops. We're talking 4 out of 4 success rate against Miami as a member of the Hornets. So yeah, I think I can buy into that magic. Appreciate you dropping that one off. And again, appreciate the super chat as well. Hayden saying, we ride the over wave. Yes, indeed. We do. We like the overs. It's just a lot more fun. A lot more fun that way. Trying to go through a couple more of the options, the picks, the plays that you guys are talking about here. Chris Smith is saying some Luka props. We've talked a couple of Luka props could be in play. Play with Rahul says Reggie Jackson ? Well, what about Reggie Jackson is it that you're liking? Got to be a little more specific. I like when you guys like propose a play, a pick, and then you're like, here's why I'm liking Reggie Jackson for over or under this or that. Like, the people want to know that you got some evidence behind your picks, right? They want to see, does the stats support the picks that you're mentioning here? So can't come up in here on the stream with that weak stuff. David Reeves is saying he's liking some Seth Curry over on points. We didn't talk about Seth Curry for points at great length, but I think he was at 15.5 yesterday, ended up getting bumped up to 16. He is now 16.5 today. We did talk about liking some Seth Curry over 3-point makes. And again, as long as the likes of Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant are out of the lineup for Brooklyn, Seth Curry should continue to get plenty of volume. So I think Seth Curry is a worthwhile look as long as he's down around like 15, 16 points. I think we can get it done. Now, Drew Brees is dropping one off again. Patreon member of the community. Shout out to you, Drew Brees. Kyle Lowry under on his assist prop. We have not talked very many unders today. We mentioned maybe Joel Embiid's rebounds being an under option, but have not talked at great length about any unders. But look at Kyle Lowry here over the last 5 games at 7.5 assists. Maybe Drew Brees has a point. Maybe we actually take a shot on Kyle Lowry going under his assist prop at 7.5. He's only covered this prop once, and it was against the Pelicans where he dropped 11 assists against New Orleans. Now, there is a lot of news pending for the Miami Heat. A lot of news. So, for me, I'm going to take the wait-and-see approach. I need to see who's in, who's out before I'm touching any Miami Heat props. Now, the game against Charlotte, probably going to be one of them games where it's more of an up-tempo type of game. He did play Charlotte recently, February 5th, ended up with just 6 assists in that game, so he did fall short. He did not cover 7.5. So just to get you a projection on this one, give you a little more info. Wow. He's projected for about 9 assists, 8.9 to be exact. Betting favorite on at least one site here at -120 odds. Not real strong odds, but the fact that some people are putting their money down on the over on Kyle Lowry makes me a little hesitant. Matt Polsin, if I'm saying that right. Bam Adebayo at 12 rebounds. Bam. Going up against Charlotte. We already mentioned Mason Plumlee's name, the guy on the other side of the ball in this game. Bam Adebayo's at 12 rebounds. He's hit 12 or more in 3 out of 5 games. He's only exceeded 12 rebounds one time, though, in the last 5 games. Had 14 boards against a pretty bad Brooklyn squad. So he's going up against Charlotte today. Ever so quickly, we will look at this matchup against the Hornets. They are giving up the 13th most rebounds. So even though Mason Plumlee is a favorite to cover his rebound prop, somebody that my man David's liking, a.k.a. Who Dat, They are giving up quite a few rebounds to the opposing centers as well, over 19 per game. So Bam is definitely in a very good spot here. Now, the last time he played Charlotte, he ended up with exactly 12 boards. Was not enough to go over 12. Was not enough, but he ended up pushing. I've got Bam projected for 10.1. He is at 11.5, though, out on two different sites. And they are snatching up the over, minus 135 and a minus 145. Just going to scroll through here. We've got, we'll go for about another 10 minutes or so, give or take, and try to find, a couple of other picks or plays that nobody's mentioned yet. Play with Raul. We talked about Valanciunas points already. You'll have to hit the rewind button. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I'm just catching up. You guys are talking about the freaking all-celebrity game. Myles Garrett? Come on, man. I'm like, dude, has this guy lost his freaking mind? Myles Garrett? He's asking me about Myles Garrett right now. I thought he was talking about Miles Bridges. Nah. Y'all crazy. I'm not talking about any of these player props, all right? Y'all, if you want to get into this, it could be fun. It could be fun. But no, I have not even looked at the board yet. Look, we got former NBA player Anderson Varejao down here at 7.5 points. Now, unless he's just going to play it cool and defer to his teammates and stuff and not try to go ham, then maybe he doesn't hit 7.5 points. But former NBA player Anderson Varejao will most likely have a height advantage over a lot of these other players out here. This dude was in the NBA last season. I don't know if y'all remember that. I think he came back with Cleveland for a few games. Out of nowhere, Anderson Varejao ended up back in the NBA. I don't even know why he's in this game. That's weird, but whatever. Anyway, that's kind of interesting. He's down at 7.5 points. But no, we ain't talking about no celebrity picks, man. Y'all throwing me off my freaking game. Sliding Myles Garrett. Eric, I'm going to get you back for that. Did me dirty, bro. But yeah, Miles Bridges, though. You're welcome, Bankroll. We did end up talking about some Miles Bridges, all right? So, anyway. Miles Bridges could be a play. Anyways, trying to get through some more of these picks here before I get up out of here. Appreciate everybody joining me. Like I said, we're on our way to 5,000 subscribers. Been tremendous growth here early this year. I mean, month of January was awesome. This month has been no different. You guys continue to blow me away with your support, the likes, the comments, just showing up, chatting, leaving your favorite picks and props for me to look at, man. I appreciate you so much. So hopefully we can hit that 5,000, that big CJ 5K coming soon. But I appreciate you, gang. Appreciate you. Daniel French is mentioning some Dorian Finney-Smith points. You guys are talking about some bumps happening. Let me refresh. Did they bump Anderson Varejao up? Because 7.5 points look... No, maybe you're saying he got bumped from earlier, but he's still at 7.5 points. Anyway, Dorian Finney-Smith and his points. Mr. French mentioning DFS. We talked DFS a little bit earlier for some PRA. He's been covering his PRA at a pretty good clip. He's at 10.5 points. He's covered this in 4 out of his last 5 games, an 80% hit rate, going up against the Pelicans. Let's see how many points they're giving up to opposing small forwards here. Guys really got me, man. Y'all got me with that Myles Garrett talk. What the hell? Pelicans giving up over 18 points per game to opposing small forwards. So the matchup, although it looks difficult, the points per game average that they're giving up is actually pretty nice for Finney-Smith. Got him projected for 11.3. He is at 10.5 on every single sports book today, and the public not liking this prop. They are taking the under, but the public can be wrong and has been wrong in the past. So Tiffany Haddish gonna lock some people up? I don't know about that. Busy Time says Pirtle sold me all last week. Pirtle was good to us last night. He was one of the picks that I proposed to the community. He ended up hitting. both Jakob Pertl and my man, Mr. Reliable, Yusuf Nurkic. Big Nurk. Well, listen. I'll take this last question here from Twerktle. Twerktle wants to know about Matisse Thybulle under on points. He has never hit the prop points in his career against the Bucks. Yeah, Matisse Thybulle's not a player that I've clicked on a whole lot, especially for any type of overs. So Thybulle here over the last 5 games has gone for 6 or more points in 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. He only scored 1 against Boston, though. But your point is that he has not had very good success when facing off against the Milwaukee Bucks. So let's look it up. Matisse Thybulle points versus Bucks logs. You can see he's faced the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games throughout his career. The closest he's ever come is 5 points. He has gone under, like you mentioned, in 100%. 5 for 5 in going under 6 points in his career versus the Bucks. So if you'd like, you could take the under. He is projected for 7.2, but projections, like the betting public, can be wrong and have been wrong and will continue to be wrong from time to time. But the fact that he's exceeded 6 points 2 out of his last 5 games, and that he's tied 6 points in 2 out of his last 5 games, so 6 points or more in 4 out of 5, is a little bit concerning. It's a little bit concerning. I'd say probably still maybe lean toward the under. Worst case, hopefully you end up in a tie situation. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm probably not going to click on Matisse Thybulle's name. All right, guys. Couple more. Frick. You won't let me leave. All right, you won't let me leave. That's fine. I'll take a couple more. My man Don P's dropping off a little sticker or something here. What does he look? Oh, PJ Tucker at 15.5 PRA. You're wanting to take the under on PJ Tucker at 15.5 PRA. Well, just like I talked about earlier, I mean, there's a lot of pending news for the Miami Heat. It looks like Tucker's down to 14.5 now, not at 15.5 anymore. So he's at 14.5, which, last 5 games, you can see he's only covered that one time, and that was against Brooklyn. But I'm probably going to take the wait-and-see approach on Tucker, especially now that he's been bumped from 15.5 PRA down to 14.5. But the fact that he's covered in just 6 out of 25 at 15.5 PRA, I would have to probably know a little bit more, like, what's his cover rate at 14.5? I'm sure it gets a little bit better, but yeah, I'm kind of with you, Aaron Rodgers, going back to that Thybulle play. I don't think I want to go there. Rumsey says, CJ, you're the GOAT. Every day putting that work in, doing the community a service. I appreciate you. I appreciate you as well, man. Thank you so much for being here, honestly, truly. And yes, I try to give as much of myself as I can. Probably too much, if I'm being honest, and I'm taking inventory of how much time that I spent. Probably a little bit too much. It's probably unhealthy, the amount of time that I put in. But yeah, I'm glad that you guys are appreciating it, and it's helping. It's obviously helping, because Winner's Circle last night in the Patreon Discord was on fire. So it's obviously working, right? You're welcome, Rick. No problem. Listen, J-Lo DeBarber. I got it. I figured it out. There's a lot of things that we talked about. I do not have a mental recap off the top of my head. I mean, I could try maybe to do my best. Seth Curry points, I think, will be another, good look, a popular play today. We just talked about Dorian Finney-Smith's points. He's been covering those pretty well. Somebody mentioned Chris Middleton for first half points. Those looked pretty good. Good high hit rate for him. Who else? Jalen Brunson was discussed as an over option. Potentially, he's got a pretty high hit rate at 17.5 points. Terry Rozier for first half points. First half points was one that was discussed at length. Assists. Talked about some assist props. My man was liking some under on Kyle Lowry at 7.5 assists, so that could be a look. Maybe you go back to Raul Neto under assists. He did have 8 against Indiana, but they're not a very good team. I don't know. That could be a look. Who else? I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember. Like I said, we talked about a lot. So, I mean, I'm not going to remember all the plays off the top of my head. Mason Plumlee without Gordon Hayward, like David said, could be a good option for you as an overplay. He's got a very high success rate at covering 8.5 rebounds. Some folks were liking some Andre Drummond over 11.5 boards. I mean, he could be worth a look. We had love for both Bobby Portis at 7.5 rebounds, and some folks were liking Giannis Antetokounmpo at 10 rebounds. So those were both mentioned for rebounds. PRA, I think Drew Holiday's name came up for PRA. As my man Don P just mentioned, PJ Tucker under 15.5 PRA. I'm not sure how he does at 14.5 PRA, but if you're looking for an underplay, potentially that could be a way to go. Dorian Finney-Smith has a pretty high hit rate at 16.5 PRA. I know he was discussed. Just trying to remember all of these off the top of my head here. We really didn't talk any fantasy points today. 3-point make, Seth Curry, just like his points, should definitely be in consideration for you. And then blocks and steals. I think the one that shined brightest for me was probably Miles Bridges out of the bunch. So that's a quick recap. That's about all I can remember off the top of my dome. David says he'll weigh in on Dorian Finney-Smith. I play it every time without Hardaway Jr. this season. I forget what Dorian Finney-Smith prop you're talking about, but anyway, that's it, my friends. I'm up out of here. I'm getting out of here. It's an hour, 33 minutes on a little slate. Like I said, don't go too crazy with your bankroll today. Take care of your money. I mean, we're going to have a lot of games coming up here after the All-Star break. So sit on some of your coins. Don't drop them all on today's, little slate. I mentioned it before, but I think a lot of these players are ready for some time off. It's been a grind with you guys for the first half of this NBA season, doing this daily in the community daily. I mean, you guys just see what I do on YouTube, but some of you who are in Patreon know that I've been going the extra mile, especially here lately, doing what we've been doing in the community. So, yeah, it's been a grind. I'm going to enjoy a few days off here and take a break from YouTube, from NBA props, enjoying the All-Star game and all that stuff. So I appreciate all your support once again. If you're not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 5,000 subs. We're trying to get the word out to as many people as possible and continue to expand our reach. Try to reach as many people as possible, help as many folks as we can. That's why I do what I do and why I show up, and will continue to show up here doing what I do for you guys daily. All right. So I guess unless something crazy comes up, I won't see you guys until February 24th. So I wish you all best of luck on tonight's NBA slate. If you're getting into any of the NBA All-Star stuff, again, go light on that stuff. It's all for fun. It's all for entertainment. Do not put any crazy money out on that All-Star game stuff. But anyway, I'm up out of here, guys. We will see you on the 24th. Enjoy your time off. Until then, peace and love.